Imagine a piece of clothing so tough, so iconic, and so universal that it has survived world wars, the Great Depression, the hippie revolution, and the rise of Silicon Valley. It is the only item in your wardrobe that looks better the more you destroy it. Most fashion brands die within a decade, falling victim to the ever-changing whims of the runway. Yet, one name has remained the undisputed king of the streets for over 150 years. This isn't just a pair of pants. It is the uniform of the underdog, the billionaire, and the rebel alike. But how did a simple piece of workwear made for gold miners become a global symbol of power and cool? The secret isn't just in the fabric. It's in a psychological masterclass of branding that changed the world forever. Welcome to Zero to Billion, where we uncover how brands rise from nothing to global dominance. Our story begins in 1853, in the dusty, chaotic streets of San Francisco during the height of the California gold rush. Levi Strauss, a German immigrant, didn't come to find gold. He came to sell supplies to those who did. He noticed a recurring problem that was costing miners their livelihood. Their pants were falling apart. The grueling labor of digging through rock and dirt shredded standard trousers in days. The pockets would rip under the weight of heavy gold nuggets and tools. This was a gap in the market that most saw as a nuisance, but one man saw it as a multi-billion-dollar opportunity. In 1872, a tailor named Jacob Davis approached Levi with a radical idea. He had been using metal rivets to reinforce the points of strain on work pants, specifically the pocket corners and the base of the fly. It was a simple mechanical fix, but it was genius. However, Davis didn't have the $68 needed to file the patent. He struck a deal with Strauss, and on May 20, 1873, the blue jean was officially born. But this was only the beginning of a journey that would see the brand transform from a rugged tool into a cultural weapon. As the years rolled by, Levi's faced a terrifying realization. The rugged West was being settled. The miners and cowboys, their primary customers, were disappearing. The brand was at a crossroads: remain a niche workwear company and face eventual extinction, or pivot into something the world had never seen. What happened next changed everything. They realized they weren't just selling denim, they were selling the spirit of the West. They introduced the iconic two-horse pull leather patch, a visual promise that these jeans were so strong even two horses couldn't pull them apart. This was one of the first instances of pure psychological branding. Even if you weren't a miner, you wanted to feel as tough as one. The 1950s brought the most dangerous challenge yet: the juvenile delinquent era. Hollywood icons like James Dean and Marlon Brando started wearing Levi on the silver screen. Suddenly, jeans weren't for work, they were for rebels. Schools across America began banning denim, fearing it represented a breakdown of social order. Most companies would have panicked and tried to clean up their image. Levi's did the opposite. They leaned into the tension. They let the youth claim the brand as their own uniform of defiance. By being banned, they became the most sought-after item on the planet. This decision shocked the entire industry and cemented Levi as the heartbeat of counterculture. But the road to a billion wasn't always smooth. In the 1990s and early 2000s, Levi's hit a wall. They had become dad jeans. While they were busy celebrating their heritage, new players like Diesel, True Religion, and fast fashion giants like Zara were stealing the youth. Revenue plummeted. The brand that had dressed the pioneers was now seen as a relic of the past. The internal struggle was real. Do they change who they are to fit in, or do they force the world to remember why they loved them in the first place? The comeback was a masterclass in modern luxury psychology. They stopped trying to compete with fast fashion. Instead, they doubled down on their zero to billion heritage. They opened the Levi's archives, treating their history like a museum. They collaborated with high-fashion icons and streetwear legends, bridging the gap between a dusty workshop and a Paris runway. They realized that in a world of disposable clothes, authenticity is the ultimate luxury. They stopped selling pants and started selling a legacy that you could wear. Today, Levi's dominates because they mastered the art of the Lindy effect, the idea that the longer something has lasted, the longer it is likely to last. They survived the transition from the horse and carriage to the electric car by remaining the one constant in an inconstant world. They are worn by the laborer in the field and the CEO in the boardroom. They are the ultimate democratic garment. They didn't just build a company. They built a piece of human history that sits in your closet right now. As we look at the empire Levi's has built, the lesson is clear. Trends fade, but grit is timeless. You don't win by chasing the crowd. You win by standing so firm that the crowd eventually circles back to you. Levi's stayed true to their rivets, their indigo, and their story. And that is why, 150 years later, they aren't just a brand, they are a titan. This is Zero to Billion, where stories turn into lessons. If you found value in this journey of grit and gold, hit the subscribe button and join our community of future builders. Like this video to help us share the secrets of the world's greatest empires. Subscribe and become part of the journey.